Okay, our next statement up is a statement of shareholders' equity. Which accounts? We've used these for the income statement. We use this data for the other comprehensive income. And here's my accumulated other comprehensive income, which is going to go to the statement of shareholders' equity. Which accounts do I use for the statement of shareholders' equity? Okay, so I've got to use my dividends. Okay, my dividends all the way up to where I begin my preferred stock. So these are the stockholders' equity statement. Okay, let's see how we use this in preparing for our financial statement. Okay, let's see. Statement of shareholders' equity. Interchangeable with stockholders' equity for the year ending. And in this case, our year ending is January 26, 2025. Let's begin with the titles of our statement of shareholders' equity. So we're going to have a beginning balance which is going to be 2024. Okay. I'm going to have the number of shares as a column, the dollar amount of those shares, my dollar amount of additional paid in capital, the dollar amount of accumulated other comprehensive income, and then finally my retained earnings. And all of that is going to equal a total. Okay. So draw a quick line here, just kind of a dotted line, just kind of to know that these are numbers and these are dollars. Okay. So I have my beginning balance as of 2024, and they are going to be 24,643 shares, which we got from the face of the prior financial statement. The amount was $25. Additional paid in capital was 13,109. My other comprehensive income was 27, and I began my retained earnings with 29,817. This information came from the financial statements prior year. Okay, so I look at the prior year financial statements and I found these totals. But if I look on my trial balance, these numbers aren't there at all. Like I've got a retained earnings of debit four billion and eight, because during the course of the year I have this additional information down here. Okay, my additional information down here where I can see that I used retained earnings for some share repurchases. So I see that, and I see that these other things. So in order to get this together here for your financial statement, you either need the prior year's financial statement as a reference for this starting line, or you need to calculate that starting line from the data that was given. Chances are you'll get a copy of the prior year's financial statements that include what these balances begin with. So what do we need to do? Our first entry is net income, and we get that right from the income statement for 2025. And our income statement, we had 72,880. Okay, so in the total column, the same amount. What else did we have? We had other comprehensive income. So from that financial statement, okay, we got a 1. So here's our AO, our accumulated other comprehensive income. We had 1 million. So we're going to add that 1 million there. We paid cash dividends. Okay, so I did my income statement, I did my other comprehensive. Here's my accumulated other comprehensive. It's now 28. Yes, I can see that it's added up. So I have my dividends that were paid. So cash dividends that were paid, 824. Okay. So now I have some more issues here. Let me see if I can get these things to show up for you. Okay. So I have some additional issues here that we're going to put in here. Okay. So cash dividends. I have issues of stock from stock plans. Okay, so they came from the RSU plans. So I issued stock. 203 shares were issued. An additional paid-in capital of 490. So what gets totaled over here? Only the 490. Don't total. This is why I put this little light line here. These are numbers, these are dollars. These total is only dollars. Don't make the mistake of just adding it across to speed out this thing. Okay, we're not going to do, this is the slow motion method. Okay, this is why. Okay, and then we had a tax withholding, and it was related to the RSU, and we had 59 shares that we had to use. Okay, and once again, just 6,930,000,000. Did we put the in millions up on here? Up on the top of here? In millions. Okay. Shares repurchased. 310. Repurchasing means that we've used them. Additional paid-in capital, in this case, 189. It's in millions. And in my share repurchased, the retained earnings. Okay, share repurchase plan. If they use the treasury stock method, our framework or our trial balance would have had treasury stock on it. If they use the retirement method, there is no treasury stock on the trial balance. So that's a hint right away that if you had treasury stock on the trial balance, you would have had an additional column for treasury stock. The fact that we don't have column for treasury stock and yet we have treasury stock transactions means that they use the retirement method. So I have to add 189 and this, okay? And I believe we also have a net amount of, okay, we had a change in the share dollar amount because they're 0.001 cents per share par value. We had to put something in the par value there. And then we have stock compensation. And that came out of additional paid-in capital, 4757. Okay. for the stock compensation. Okay, so you've got to be able to see this from, I hope, from the data that you're given. Okay, so these will be in the data that you're given. Okay, so now we've identified all of these. Let's see if we agree here. I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra room here for this. Okay, number of shares, we started out with 24,643. My totals are now 24,477. All right, I started out with 25. I'm now at 24, and those is truncated in millions. Okay, subtotal there 2728 for other comprehensive income. And for my retained earnings, I am now at 68,038, and my total stockholders' equity is going to be 79,327 when I foot this. Okay. All of this is going to go to the balance sheet. We're just going to flip it and it'll go to the balance sheet. All right. This has been the statement of stockholders' equity, statement of shareholders' equity in millions except for per share. And I have a beginning balance and an ending balance. And this is going to be my final numbers that go into the stockholders' equity section of the balance sheet. This has been Professor Campbell. Thank you very much.